You're watching SKST Radio.
Well, welcome to another episode of SKST Radio, and you're tuned in to Small Business Network, and this is Grayson, and over here I have my new friend, Anthea. Welcome to the show!
Thank you, Cami. It's a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So tell people about who you are and what you do.
Okay, well, Anthea Piscarik, I'm also an identical twin. So that makes life very interesting because a lot of people think it's just one moody person. They says hello one day and walks right by the next. So that's something that has, I guess, changed my life. I mean, from day one, right? But I'm also a writer. I started in the news profession as a news reporter, and I used to write feature articles. And then, I used to think of the people that I had interviewed, their words were like dialogue. And then I needed to create my own characters. So I started writing short stories. And the quotes from people were now like dialogue for my characters. And it just opened up the whole world of creativity that as a twin, always having someone with me, I had other people that I created on my own. And then once I started writing short stories, I studied acting in New York, and I wrote plays as well. A couple of one-act plays that were staged. And I studied screenwriting in Los Angeles. So there was an evolution or an expansion of my writing, my creativity from news reporting to short stories to playwriting and to screenplays.
Nice.
Yes.
So you actually, we have a little parallel walk pathway there.
Yes.
Because I have written a few plays. And actually, they turned out to be really big. And it started off with my book, You Wouldn't Know a Good Man If You Saw One. I thought I couldn't publish it, so I decided to turn it into a play. That's all,
Interesting.
So took the book, turned it into a play, and that play ran for probably almost 2 or 3 years.
What was it, a full 3-act? Was it a 1-act? I mean,
No, it was a full play. It was a full,
right.
We had probably about 20 different scenes.
Okay.
In all. And so it turned out to be really, really good. Really good.
It's interesting how the creative process, when you have a story to tell, it's amazing how many different ways you can tell that story. Although, I was also a grant writer for many years too. And that's sort of what spawned my novel writing, because as a grant writing, it's very precise. And, you're pretty much relegated to like 5 verbs: offer, support, provide, serve. So I need to get back into more descriptive writing. And even with screenwriting, 1 page of script is 1 minute of screen time. So you don't get that chance to do a lot of description. So I thought I need to write a novel. And that's how Unearthing Christmas, I think I see that you had mentioned that, or there's a scroll that says it started with a dream. My first novel started with a dream, and that's very true. It actually was a 1 visual that spawned that whole story with the characters and everything. And I actually have that book. It's called Unearthing Christmas.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. It started the whole series that's now 5 novels. It's just, I started that story as a script, a screenplay, and I thought, no, with all the sparse writing that I had been doing, I needed to do something that was more descriptive. Mm-hmm. So as a writer, I needed to go to the next level for myself. Even though I had started with short stories, I needed to go back to that. It's because I never thought I could write a novel. I would have the longevity as a writer to come up with a story, or even characters that would have longevity to last through a novel. So it's an interesting process. Every story we write has a different beginning, middle, and end, obviously, but also as a writer, we're always evolving. As you well know, Cami, we're never in the same place because our lives don't stay in the same place.
And which is so funny too, because in February, I was approached by a studio to actually, well, yeah, it's Blue Dot Films.
Mm-hmm.
So they reached out to me and asked me, could they shop the book, but they wanted me to turn it into a screenplay. I
Yes.
had no clue of how to do
Yes.
that.
Well,
So,
IP, yeah, intellectual property has always been very popular in Hollywood.
wow.
Because there's a known audience, even if it's not a large audience. The story has already been told. Now, it can be told in a different way. And it already has some, it has some standing, or the story has that foundation. Otherwise you're writing speculative.
Mm-hmm.
And I have written 5 of those.
Wow.
2 were optioned. It's like playing the lottery, the whole
Yes.
screenwriting. Sorry, screenwriters, I had to say it. It's amazing how anything gets on the screen. I have such respect for anyone, producer, director, acting, everyone who's involved, the lighting people that get that on a screen. I have friends. I was in Act 1 writing for Hollywood. I was in the inaugural program in 1999. And I see the success of some of the students who were in that first program with me in LA. And I would shout on the rooftops about their success, because I know what it takes, the perseverance and just to believe and not giving up.
Yeah.
It's absolutely. Like there's always that in anything in the arts, Cammie. It's, when you look at, and I know I'm rambling.
So, no, you're good. You're good.
I get all excited. It's not even the coffee, because the coffee's way worn off. But it's like even in the authorship world. So there's 4 million self-published books every year on Amazon, and there's another 500,000 to 1 million traditionally published.
Wow.
And I started thinking, I'm writing my 3rd novel. The first 2 are published. Here's the second one, by the way. The years in between.
Nice.
This shadowy character that you see on this, well, she had her own story to tell me. And she was sort of like tapping me on the shoulder, saying, "You're not done yet. I need to tell my story." So, and it's a crazy story, but it's good. But I started thinking, as I'm working on my 3rd novel, like the marketing alone is just, it's a drain. It's like it's just nonstop. And I thought, I'm competing with 5 million novels or books. I mean, not just novels, but how-to memoirs. What am I doing? And then I did a giveaway in March, a Goodreads giveaway of 100 ebooks.
Okay.
And just this week, Cammie, one of those people who got the free giveaway it was just a month-long thing. Actually, it was only for 2 weeks. And she thanked me. She wrote on my post, she sent a post, and it's public. She thanked me for writing that story. And I thought, I'm getting chills now. It's worth it. I mean, for some, that's the best compliment. I don't care what they think of my writing. The fact that she thanked me for writing that story, it speaks volumes for me.
Yeah.
So it gives me that if one person thanks me, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It really is.
It tells you that everyone might not be on board for the story, right?
Right.
But there is one person that said thank you.
Yes.
So if that one person is there, it's tons more who's not even saying anything.
That's right.
It's amazing. And that's
yes,
congratulations to that too.
Thank you. Yes, because that just made my day as a writer. And it's hard to get the reviews for me, because I hate pestering people. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'll ask you twice, and then I won't bother you anymore, and I'll thank you for reading the book. It's like on my side that thank you.
Right.
But I think everyone wants a rating. You go to the grocery store, they want you to rate how they did.
Yeah.
How they,
it's important. That's important.
It is important, but I think people are tired of it. It's like that's what I heard from someone who said, I'm always reviewing stuff. It's like, well, I review everything. Anyone who asks me I don't care what it is. I do. If it's, the local bakery, I will review it. because I know you're right, Cammie. I understand how important it is.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. I mean, because for one, if I didn't get good ratings for the show, and as you know, part of the only thing I asked was to
Yeah.
repost and like, share, and subscribe. Only
Yes.
because you want other people to know that you're there. You want other people,
Yes.
like I said, it's a million people that's doing podcasting. So there's a million other people who could be your. It's not who you know, it's what you know, or vice versa. What you know is who you know. But anyway, it takes a networking group to get it out there, is what I'm
Right.
trying to say. And so, had I not met you, your viewers that's going to be watching this would never have seen my show,
That's right.
and vice versa. My viewers would never have known that your book was out there,
Yes. Yes.
so now they know we helped each other.
That's right. And that's what we do. I mean, that's how the world works.
Absolutely.
It's the support, it's the encouragement, and it's just sharing the good news of other people and what they're doing.
Absolutely.
It's so important to share. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, okay. So let's go back to, you said you were a grant writer.
Yes.
Do you still do that?
I just left after many years. It was very good. I loved it. I loved my job. I wrote for the Ministry of Caring, if I may say that, in Delaware. We feed, clothe, and shelter the poor and homeless. And we still have the same executive director who started it when he was 27 years old.
Wow.
Back in 1977, he started this. He's an icon in and of himself, Brother Ronald Giannone. And he still runs this. He's looking at his 50th anniversary in 2017, I guess. No, 2027. What am I saying? 2027 will be his 50th anniversary. And my job was to raise money for bricks and mortar, which are the renovation, the big projects, like the new affordable senior housing and the $1 million stuff.
So
yeah,
you're big bucks.
Yes, the big bucks, because that's what gets a building built.
Absolutely.
And I loved it because I saw the fruits of my labor. And our mission is so wonderful because, we feed, clothe, and shelter the poor and homeless. And anyone who shows up at our dining rooms gets fed, and they get fed restaurant style. They,
nice.
They real plates and silverware and everything. And it restores dignity. And it's a gateway to other programs that can help them. So
wow.
I did that for many years, a couple of decades, actually, and decided at the end of 2022 to write full time, because my first and second book, Unearthing Christmas and the Years in Between, was 7 years in between. And I thought, I have 3 more books in the Miriam Chronicles, and I just need to devote time to that. I need to really see what I'm about as a writer. So I took a faith leap, Cammie. I'm unemployed, but I'm a full-time writer. And I'm also back to the documentary that I'd started years ago about the blind couple raising their own sighted twins.
Yeah, I saw that.
Remarkable. Oh my goodness. So Chris, the mother, was in the Paralympics in Barcelona, Spain, as a swimmer. In 1992, she was born blind. And Gary, the father, slowly went blind from the age of 14 to 19.
Wow.
Very slowly. But they had twins, a boy and a girl, and they were preemies. They had the whole thing where they had to be like hooked up to stuff. I mean, they did all of this on their own. And everyone said, how in the world are they going to raise a family? But it's a remarkable story. And I started it when the kids were 2 years old. Well, we used to joke and say, by the time they get this finished, they'll be in college. Well, guess what? They're heading for college in September. So it's time for Anthea to get this one off her plate. Okay. Yeah. And get that story. It's a different story now because it's going to be all the original footage is when they were young. And it's a fascinating story because Kelly, not that I'm telling tales out of school, but at 2 years old, she knew that she could stand in the middle of the living room, and no one would see her. And as long as she was very quiet, she could be playing hide and seek in the middle of a room.
Wow.
So, I know. So the things that they had to do to keep control, like put bells on their shoes.
Right.
So, there's so many stories, and I can't wait to tell it. We're looking at a short documentary. There's a meeting coming up on Monday to kind of regroup with the director, who is very talented, and someone who's coming on board. So I've got a lot of things going on. But you know what that's
sounds
like.
Exciting. Sounds exciting.
It is.
My gosh. So what's next for you? What are you working on right now?
Oh, thank you for asking. Because I need prayers. I'm working on the third book. It's speculative fiction. So the second book, The Years in Between, once again, I think that's even in your promo. Yes. That was historical fiction. It goes from 1956 through 2019. And I, from being a news reporter, I love research. And that was a fun book to read. Plus, I knew the character, and I knew her story and her trajectory as a character. But this one is speculative, and it goes up to 60 years in the future.
Okay.
So it's the techie part. Like, what will the world look like?
Look like then, yeah.
Yes. So it's not like 3,000 years from now or 2,000 where you can create a whole different. You can create any world you want. It's far enough in the future that we don't know what it's going to look like, but it's close enough that some of those things are probably already in some research element. You know, it's
yeah.
So I'm trying to. No, I don't want it to end up being archaic by the time it comes out, but I don't want it to be so far-fetched that none of that thing could ever materialize, could never come to fruition. So it's a harder book to write right now.
Nice.
The next two are easy because they'll go back in time again, and I know the characters.
Yeah.
This character in the third book, she's a little elusive. She's an ornithologist for a very good reason why she studies birds. But I need to get to the core of who she is. Mm-hmm. If she wasn't in that field, what would she do? What would she? You should always know your character, what they're doing now, and what they would do if they weren't doing that. You should know them inside and out. Yes.
You know, I was about to say, when I'm writing, I have several stories that I have not completed, for whatever various reasons. But don't you find that the book actually comes to life and it starts writing its own story?
Yes.
I see that in you. And it's like, I'm like, you don't understand. I started this character this way, but they evolved to being this person, and it's kind of like, this is crazy. Who's writing this,
Oh my goodness. You just described the essence of writing. Yes. The characters will take you on their journey. Yes. Now I have this thing where I plot things. I'm a plotter as opposed to a pantser. I chart things out. I have like blocks of like things that will happen in each chapter, whatever. That's what I did with the second book. And I knew how it would end. But that journey can change in a heartbeat. There could be someone else who comes in the picture, but I'm working from something. Like I'm changing something instead of changing from nothing. That's just me. I have to have some structure. I'm a structuralist. And I think part of that comes from being a screenwriter too.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of structure in that.
Yeah.
But that can change.
So detailed, you have to have every little bit,
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's a plot to tend to as well.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a plot that has to be taken care of and executed.
Yes.
But the characters, as a matter of fact, I think Lori, my character now, she's like ready to fire me as her writer because I'm not marketing her enough. I'm like, she's like, Anthea, get on it, girl.
Right.
Anyway, there's still time.
You make everything seem so exciting. I love that about you. I absolutely love that about you.
I have to tell you, Cammie, when I was in grade school, in second grade, the teacher wrote on the report card that I read with too much enthusiasm.
No way.
I'll never forget that. No.
Wow.
So I'm living it now. I'm being true to whatever she wrote.
Right. So what's the happiest thing about you writing in your books?
The happiest thing is when it's done. It's like when I complete it, because otherwise what am I doing? It's like when I know, even it does first draft. I don't care if it's the first, when I know that first draft is done and I'm getting ready. I know I'm going to do a lot of rewriting, but there's a feeling of like, okay, that that's done. Even if there's some sketchy things, there's something in my head that knows it. The first draft is done.
Yeah.
I love it. Then
So
the real work starts.
I was about to say, so what is the hardest part? What is the saddest part about your writing?
The writing is, oh my goodness. The saddest part is not knowing if who and when it will be read. It's like, Cammie, we're not writing diary entries, it's like,
Right.
it's the marketing is daunting for me more so than the writing. Yes. I do struggle with when I let a couple of days go by, it's hard to get back in the saddle for me.
Yeah.
And that I get a little bit of a depression from that too. I'm glad you asked that because that's something I need to evaluate in myself. I will I'll make those, empty promises like, I'm not going to let a day go by. And I'm at the point now where I even log how many hours I write every day.
Really?
Yeah. Cause I want to get up to 4 hours. In March, it was 50 minutes a day. When I added all the days up in the month and divided it by the number of days, it came out to 50 minutes. And I'm like, Anthea, you call yourself a writer?
Oh, wow.
And then in April, it came up to an hour. So far this month, May, it's been 2 hours, adding up. It's like some days it's 4, some days it's 2, some days it's 1. Yesterday it was 0. Can you see that? Yeah. So, I'm not perfect and I'm not as disciplined as I should be, but I'm getting there.
Yeah.
And people say, well, why do you do that to yourself? That's so depressing. It's like, no, I like reality checks. It's good to check in with yourself,
and hold yourself accountable,
Yes, exactly. They're my words. I love you. You have the heart of a writer. I knew that before I met you. I could tell just from listening to one of your podcasts. Yes.
Yeah. Well, writing has been, it makes me feel good inside. It helps me overcome my obstacles. Again, it helps me when I get those stories out. I dream my stories. I don't know about you, but my muse are my dreams. And so when I wake up, it's like I used to always have that pad and pencil right there. But now that I've gotten so busy doing other things, I don't do it as much, so I'm guilty of stopping. So I have, like I said, so many stories that I've started, but I have not completed it. And I know the stories and I have reoccurring dreams, which is so crazy. And so until I write those down, they will keep coming. They will keep coming.
They want to be told. That's the key. Those stories will be told. They will make sure they're told.
Yeah. So if I could do, like you said, be accountable, hold myself accountable to get those stories out. But I'm having so much fun doing all this other stuff. I love podcasting. I love meeting new people.
Yeah. It's amazing how the world has changed. I mean, the Zoom meetings, who knew that was going to be not that I'm advocating everything. I mean, we need to get into some live things, but it's really opened up a lot of channels, especially as a screenwriter. I can have a meeting with someone in LA. So, and there are still some projects that are still simmering in the background. So, I'm hoping and praying for those as well. Good friends that are, looking, there's a writer's strike going on right now. So that, kind of puts a bump in the road, but in the meantime, we'll stay creative. I mean, that doesn't change.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And those stories will be told. Yes.
Yeah. And then the crazy thing though, because I also interview movie directors, and they're always saying, take your phone and you can keep going and just, do a story with your phone, your iPhones,
Right.
And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if people realize the tools that they have, that they're not utilizing, even when they don't have the resources they think they have.
That's right.
They're missing it. They're missing the boat.
That's right.
So, but yeah, I mean, the world is the Jetsons almost, we're almost in the Jetson time, and it's amazing.
Yes. As a matter of fact, when I was in California a few weeks ago, my shuttle driver to the airport said, "Oh, they already have cars that are hovering 4 feet off the ground and driving. They're in. Yes. I don't know if I don't know if we'll be doing that though. That seems even though that engineering and that capability is there.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about that one. Although I was talking to someone, a family member, who said they're already doing that from island to island.
Yeah. And
Like
the jets, the backpack jets, those are in full fruition.
Yes.
And I've seen like the water jet backpacks too.
Yes.
Those they're using those for fun. You know, they're making that a ride,
right?
Pretty much. So we're there.
We are there.
Bye, Fred Flintstone.
Right.
I love Judy Jetson.
From Fred to Mr. Jetson. I don't know his first name though. So
George,
George
Jetson.
George Jetson.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And this is how they talked. Remember, their television was their telephone.
Right.
And we're doing it now.
That's right.
Yeah. That's where I got that from. Because we're doing that. That is crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah.
But hey, we're evolving. So tell people how they can buy your books.
Well, my books are available Amazon. They can also be purchased at Barnes and Noble. So, or you can ask for them at your local bookstore or go online. I actually can send them out to you. That's another thing that I am available to do through my website. And they will be autographed because I have Venmo and some other opportunities, PayPal and whatever, to do that.
Yeah.
So, and I thought that phone was off. My apologies.
That's okay.
We almost got through without that thing going off.
They waited until that time. That's just how it works.
Pay no attention. Pay no attention to that noise in the background.
The person behind the curtain don't pay no attention.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and I'm going to be doing another Facebook ad. We'll see. I did one back in March. And I had over 500 clicks, but it only sold 3 books. But that might be the average. I don't know. I'm going to try that again. I need to get back into some other advertising opportunities. Right. Got to do it all.
Right.
Ken?
So I started online on my Facebook, the Authors Network. And so I want to gather all the authoresses I can in this network. And so we can help one another.
Yes.
And so I haven't... I guess policed it the way I wanted to do it yet. But the goal is this time next year, all of us will be there. We can pull on resources. We can ask questions. Just what are you doing out there for this? Right. Have you run across this? Or can we find a grant writer to help write these nonprofit books? Whatever it takes to get this networking going.
Right.
And then I want to also host, I did a conference last year and it was nice. We had probably about 7 authors to show up for the conference and it was locally. And I liked that. It was fun. And we had a chance to network and talk. And I think I want to continue that and keep it going as well.
Right. Yes.
We need
That's
it.
wonderful. We need to support each other, and we need to buy each other's books too.
And that's why I said that. That's exactly why I said that, because if you're doing your campaign, why can't I share it? And maybe some of my viewers or readers would like to purchase your book. You never know.
Yeah.
So that's how we work it. Yeah. So words of wisdom. What type of words of wisdom can you give a fellow author / screenwriter / I want to be her when I grow up?
Okay, well, I'm going to quote someone from a script I wrote. St. Catherine of Siena. She was a mystic saint back in 14th century, and she has a quote that I think anyone could somehow adhere to. If you are who God intended you to be, you will set the world on fire.
Wow, I love it.
I want everyone who's listening here to know what their talents are and use those talents, and they will set the world on fire. And that world is whatever you have access to.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. I love it. Absolutely love it. I need to use that for the thought for today too. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. Okay. Well, our time is up.
Yes. I loved it. Thank you so much.
It went fast.
Yes, it does.
So that means we need to do it again.
We should.
Yeah. I mean, it only took us a year to get here.
I would very much enjoy. I'm sure we could explore so many different things.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
I could interview you.
That would be
I would
fun.
love that. I used to be a news reporter.
I probably wouldn't even know how to act if I was being
I'm
interviewed.
sure
You can talk to me all day long, but the moment you say the word interview, I'm out.
It depends on the
I'm like
subject.
this.
Yeah. No, it's a subject. If it's something you're impassioned about, it comes out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
That's true. I think I won't be as bad, but yeah, it's what it is. Okay, so we're gonna say goodbye. Anthea, tell everyone goodbye, and guys, read her book. Go to our YouTube, like, subscribe, contact her, purchase her book. I mean, this is a beautiful woman inside and out, and she has the knowledge. So go for it. Okay.
Thank
All right.
you,
Tell everybody goodbye.
All right.